May try to carry the Artemis moonshot this afternoon. Should be around 5:25 if it goes off on time. 5:24. We're watching the countdown clocks. Trump speaks tonight on the Iran war. The markets seem to think things are turning positively in terms of our contribution in that situation wrapping up. The Dow today ended up a couple hundred points after a pretty big day yesterday. Things starting to settle. Let me double check while we're sitting here talking about such matters and look at where the oil futures wind up after today, because day to day in our own pocketbooks, we're watching these oil prices all the time. Yeah, so oil did start coming down under $100 a barrel on the Brent. The Strait of Hormuz is slowly opening back up. Many more ships are moving rather than the paralysis that we've seen. The outline of the speech that we think Trump's going to give tonight is going to talk about the successes of the mission, that we're almost out of targets. We're down to about 2 or 3 more weeks to clean up. And then it's up to the rest of the world that actually get their oil through the strait. It's not us. We're not getting our oil through there. But if Europe wants oil and gas through the strait, they're going to have to do something about it. They got to step up. United Kingdom is leading several countries. They've got 35 countries that are committed to going in and policing the strait to keep the Iranians back. UAE's doing the same thing today, saying they'll just take over by force. That's a good thing. We hand off, as I heard it said earlier today, we've done the heavy lifting. Our country has freed the world of these mullahs and their nuclear ambitions. Nothing will ever be completely erased if there's still vestiges of that regime that wind up seizing power and want to try to reconstitute it. It'll take them 30 years, but those cancer cells could remain on the host. But I do believe we're in a position now for the people of Iran to get their country back, the people that want their freedom and want to participate in the rest of the world. I'm super optimistic knowing how the people on the ground feel about it. I saw an analysis today. Actually, our buddy AJ sent this over to me, somebody that he keeps up with, that does a quick little 5-minute military TikTok basically on conditions on the ground and what's happening where. And it was a really good summary. One of the things he did after yesterday's bombings and activity on the ground was he thought it looked like the battlefield was being shaped for a ground invasion. And there's rumor all over the place that Trump's going to announce that we're going in on foot. I don't believe that, not based on his rhetoric and his intentions and conditions on the ground. And what I think his analysis, if I would be so presumptuous, I'm no military expert, but if you're also going to leave the country to the people, you've got to take away Iran's ability to further oppress their own people and hold down any uprising, in addition to taking away their threat of hitting their neighbors or hitting anybody long range. So we've taken out their long-range threat. We've taken out their medium-range threat. They can still lob missiles. I saw some bombs going off a little while ago. It may be the biggest explosion yet that I've seen in this war. It happened a few hours ago where we found another underground missile silo and completely obliterated that thing. Early in this, it was presumed, well, just a few days ago, it was presumed that the target list all along was about 13,000 places that should be hit to completely weaken whoever's left of the regime. And we had, as of yesterday, hit 11,000 of those, several hundred more today. So it could be that we're at the end of the target list. And from the sky, with our capability, with our intelligence, and with our lethality, we have done all the hard stuff for that region, and now pick up the ball and patrol the region and open up the strait and go back to commerce in that part of the world. That would be good for everybody. And now you just, in my opinion, we need to pray for the people in that country that have been oppressed for so long to be able to come out of their houses, come out of their apartments, get into the streets now that the bombing campaign is ended. They're not going to come out while we're dropping things from the sky. That's irrational. But when they do, and they were doing that before we ever dropped the first bomb, the world could change over there. If these people could ever get a normal government back so that they can govern themselves, we don't want to run the place, but we want them to be normalized. And now a lot of the radicals and their surrogates, and we're down on the we're not on the B team anymore. We're on the C team in terms of leadership. They're all being wiped out. The opportunity is clear. So now Europe steps up. The UAE and the other countries in the region step up in the strait. The world goes back to normal oil commerce. and the people of Iran have an opportunity to perhaps get some say in their lives. We'll see how it plays out. Should be pretty dramatic. The president has asked for 20 minutes of airtime. They made a formal request to all the major broadcast networks and the cable networks to set aside some time. And unless I misread something, I think it's 8 o'clock our time tonight. Primetime speech. Fascinating. Big day. Artemis, the president, big Supreme Court hearing today, other stuff going down in the news. Let's do some phones. I promised early phones as we get cranked up here this hour. This is Steve over on a cell phone. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Lynn, long time no see. How you doing?
Hey, man.
Hey, I want to get your input.
Okay.
So on the, I saw Yellowhammer had a poll out about the U.S. Senate race on the Republican primary.
Yep.
Of course, I have my favorite in Jared Hudson, but it made me believe that out of all the polls that I've seen the past few months about who's really ahead, it seemed like this one was probably more legit of the other ones. What's your input? What's your take on the race, and what do you think the chances are for Jared?
Well, let me see. Is it the poll that was out? I think it was out on Friday where I did a pretty good analysis. I went into this thing. It was called, I think it's called the Alabama poll, the one that basically had a three-way tie. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought, and I can be skeptical of pollsters, but having worked with and loosely in that business for a period of my life, I kind of understand methodology a little bit. So with an eye of skepticism and common sense, I'll look at these things and say, well, does it fit does it fit what's going on the ground and what we see here in Alabama? And actually that poll made more sense to me than some of the other polling. Here's why. It makes sense that the races will start tightening. It makes sense that you couldn't take a candidate. I don't think, and I don't dislike the guy at all, but I don't think Steve Marshall connects the way Barry Moore's got a capability of connecting with people because he's been doing it for a little bit longer. And Jared Hudson he's got a magnetic personality and a great story, but he's the newbie. He's the novice. So, and there's a body of people that want an outsider. I saw a line from his campaign where if you're frustrated with Congress, don't send another politician to Washington. I was like, they need to stick with that. That's his best line. So all that being said, despite the money that's been spent, and people try to evaluate the money in that race and that it makes an instant difference, and I can tell you firsthand it does not. You've got to get to probably nowadays $10 or $15 million to have saturation. And even though some of those other candidates have spent $5 or $6 million, well, people on their behalf have spent that kind of money. It's not enough yet, and so there's still a huge undecided. So yeah, it's logical to me that the race would kind of draw down to a three-way tie. If conditions stay like that, we're 100% heading for a runoff. If you've got three strong candidates, none of them look like they're strong enough on their own to win without a. So the game is to win without a runoff. The game is to get in the top two and then roll hard and have some resources for the close. And we're in for a longer, protracted Senate race, which I guess we always knew with a crowded field. But I liked it. I think Jared is performing better poll-wise at this point than I thought he would, and he's raised more money than I thought he could raise. And I told him this. We met and talked well before he got in. Same thing. I don't know much about Barry Moore. Actually, my wife knows him and speaks highly of him. I think he's hooked up with a lot of Washington money in the Trump endorsement. But it's still too early for him to pull away with all that. People aren't plugged into that race yet. But I suspect that the volume is about to go up. The negative ads are about to start rolling and hits on each other. That's going to draw more interest to the race. And now's where the separation starts coming.
I agree. All right, man. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
All right, Steve. I was about to get Steve's thoughts on it, but he had a question and I tried to answer it. Yeah, I know that's a little hyper analytical, but I get that way about polling versus money. There's a lot of political myths out there that money alone will get you into an office, and that's generally true. But look at Cornyn out in Texas. There are other factors. When you've been in office for 27 years and you've screwed people over in your state and you've undermined the president repeatedly in these times, under these circumstances, $100 million gets you 13 points behind against the attorney general. We don't have that dynamic here. We don't have a known incumbent with known negatives like that. So it's a different kind of race. Then you take the Katie Britt race. Nobody knew who the hell she was except for political insiders. She was a staffer and her husband was a lobbyist. She was a very much the insider they wanted. And they put 25 or 30 million on the ground in the state and blew everybody away. So yeah, it can be overwhelming if there's not equal footing So if these guys are equal in their fundraising, and the thing is, with fundraising, success begets success. So if you're having polling success, your fundraising goes up. It just does. People want to bet on a winner. And you've got some donors that'll give to all of them, just try to keep peace and then eventually get behind the nominee. But I'm utterly fascinated with the race, and we'll try to be fair to all the candidates. Here's the weird thing. If I got to be square with y'all, I like all three of them. And that I have nothing negative to say about the three of them, and I don't want to start going there. I think Steve Marshall's been a great attorney general. I don't know Barry Moore, but I've loosely followed his policy positions, and the people I trust that know him like him. And Jared Hudson's a friend of mine. Any of the three of them would be solid senators, and they'd all probably vote the way we'd want them to vote. So in your mind and in my mind, it's easier for me when I've got loyalty to a friend that's running, and I'm just straight up about that, to make my decision. But for your decision, you got to find some reason to contrast the three without everybody having to be the devil himself. The stuff we do to each other in politics, where you have three quality people that are much better than anything the Democrats could present. I don't know this fourth candidate at all. But when you've got three solid people and then the dehumanizing vitriol and the paranoia that's about to kick in with the ads and the mailbox stuff and the text and the phone calls and the way we do campaigns this day, it's just wrong. I wish if we put it this way, man, he sent me down a dirt road, AJ. I was going to talk about Artemis again. If we were better people as voters, we wouldn't get treated this way. I'm going to take the blame on ourselves. The reason we get negative campaigns and all this mudslinging and this negative innuendo and innuendo and all the nasty stuff that comes into it is because it works, period. I'm not saying it's foolproof, but in terms of the way these ads are designed, they're just designed to either drive negatives up or plant seeds of doubt about candidates. And again, I caution y'all, you don't have to prove any of this stuff to get it on the air. There's an ad running on Tuberville right now, which is a stretch beyond imagination, but they can say that under the way we do things with the First Amendment and with the campaign finance rules. So a lot of what you hear is just complete bull squeeze. So are the ads that make them look like they're all hunters and farmers and, good old boys. None of that's true either. Everybody fluffs their resume. There's been an issue that's popped up against Barry Moore. I have no way to judge it this week. I'll let that play out wherever it plays out, but that he has exaggerated his military experience. I've been presented with all of it. I'm still trying to figure out what this means, if anything, in that race. So it could start heading in that direction. It could go a lot of ways. But let's look at the fun side of it. I like a good spirited debate. I think it's better than and again, I'm not personally knocking Katie Britt because I've never met her, which is the craziest thing. I've not. But the way that race was handled and the way it played out, that's not the way we should be deciding. It should be more. We should have more voters involved. There were very few people in that turnout for that race. A lot of money spent, and the old system got what it wanted. But if we're to improve our candidates, we need more spirit. We need quality people to step up and run quality races and to have good vetting and to be competitive on the Republican side. Because when that fails, once your state is controlled by one party like it is here in Alabama, you wind up with Lindsey Graham over in South Carolina. You wind up with Mr. Bubbles down at Disney World, 71-year-old gross man hanging out when he should be doing his job in D.C. because he can. Who's going to run against him? Lindsey Graham knows no one's going to take him out over in South Carolina right now. So he can do what the hell he wants. He can be as arrogant as he wants to. He's done it so long. And that's, if this country could ever move away from the power of incumbency and that stuff still having a dominating effect in the good old boys club that is the Senate, we'd be in better shape. I'm looking forward to the race. I really am. Should be good. And yes, I will have the candidates on. I'm going to let things get a little further down the line so folks are focused. But before we get to the primary, we'll have them on at length in person. I don't do phone calls, and I don't give softball interviews, and I don't do attack stuff. It's cheesy. I just really want to hear what they're thinking, and we'll talk to all three of them, or all four of them for that matter. All right, there we go. A little political analysis as we get in the 3 o'clock hour. Quick break. Let me talk to y'all about Birmingham Broker real quick, and then we'll keep moving. BeHamBroker.com, BeHamBroker.com. If you got a car, truck, or SUV for sale or thinking about it because it's time to trade, sometimes you just need a different type of ride, or yours is getting a little old, or you fall in love with the new ones and it's time to trade. Lots of reasons. Let them sell your previously owned vehicle down at Birmingham Broker. They'll get you top dollar. This is what they do. They represent you to the market, or your vehicle to the market, and find you a buyer. Help you establish a good price, what it'll really fetch, market it all over the country, really, and then line that up and get it sold. Handle the transaction, all the paperwork, all that stuff, and get you a check. And then you're on to the next thing. Or not. Maybe you just got one to sell. It's Beham Broker. Go down and see Craig and Keith and let them help you with these deals. And later we'll give you more details on this new line of business down there where they've created they got a motorcycle shop down there, electric motorcycles. These things are cool. BeHamBroker.com, BeHamBroker.com. Yeah, 326. Let's do this thing. Alabama Gold Refinery. Let me see. I'll do this real quick. I'm always curious every day. I just get curious about these things. Let me see where gold wound up today. It had been on a slide, which is a buying opportunity. Anybody that's working the equities markets, or even some of the commodity stuff, you look for low points. Gold's starting to make a comeback. Told y'all the other day, if you'd have bought last week, you'd have made some money. Now at 47.93, trying to climb its way back up 2.5% today alone. So still a good buying opportunity because we've seen the top end. The top end was somewhere around 54. Don't let me give you advice. Go down and talk to Steve at AGR, Alabama Gold Refinery, alabamagoldrefinery.com. They're in Homewood, central location, safe location, across from the Regions Bank, and they are ready to help you out and get you set up. AGR, y'all go see him and get to know Steve. He's a resource. This whole place is a resource. It's an exchange. It's a place you can buy, you can sell, you can trade, you can do whatever you want, moving in and out of cash. Pick up when the prices are right. Go do some pickups and add to your collection, or unload some old stuff you don't need anymore and generate some cash. It's really nice to have a place, a trustworthy place that can do this. It's Alabama Gold Refinery down in Homewood, right there across from the Regions Bank, AGR, alabamagoldrefinery.com. Of all the big things we got in the news today, here's an irritating thing, and I think I'll throw it in right now, AJ. We got a short segment. I saw a story today that hotels in Vegas, and you've been out there recently. I haven't been to Vegas in years. There are some hotels in Vegas that are now charging something called a comfort fee. My understanding is it's $28. And a comfort fee is if you want to use the air conditioner in the room.
You know what? Since it's Vegas, I would not put it past them.
Dude, so you check in, you think you got a normal room, you go up to your room. But if you want to turn the air on, there's one of those little tap devices, like you tap your card to pay for things, and for $28 a day, tap and you get to control the air conditioner.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm gonna bring my own fan. But you know what? All right, so
that's cheap.
I was in Vegas not too long ago, and they got really like some tech stuff in your room.
Oh, do they?
So
creepy.
a little snack bar, right? Normally, you can kind of finagle it and be like, oh, let me just go ahead and do a quick little switcheroo, and then, ha.
What are you saying?
I'm not saying I've done that.
Bar,
you
replace, or you drink one and put it back?
Yeah, I'm admiring it.
You're just admiring it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it.
Empty, and then go buy another one cheaper
right.
and put it back.
I'm looking at this price. Well, no, this is what look, some of the prices, all right, if you move it, like you can just move it.
Oh, if you put a hand on it, I see what you're saying.
And it would sense it and then charge it to the room, even if you did not open it.
Like a motion detector.
Yes.
We've got a snack bar here at the break room here at the station that's like that. It's monitored with surveillance, and they watch people. You can go pick any item you want. You're supposed to scan and leave, and it's got a little camera on everybody.
Yeah.
Checking everybody out.
Man, it was like $12 for a bottle of water. I said, nope.
Bring your own water. Man, you're going to be sitting on the toilet one day and there's no toilet paper. And if you want some, you got to tap your card. You better bring it with you to the bathroom. You got to tap your card and it'll shoot it out the wall. Just a little bit, though. You better be efficient. Don't have one of them bad ones. Yikes. All right, it's 3:35. Leland Live, WorkTrucksLLC.com, bringing you the show tonight. If you got a business or even an organization, or maybe you just want a no-frills truck for whatever reason, one that's just stripped down and basic, you can get from A to B and haul all your stuff. They've got them at Work Trucks. They'll sell them to anybody. They go out into it's the pre-leased market and find the best of these vehicles with the lowest miles, not been run down or beat up, and they bring them back to Birmingham. They're clean and base white. They don't have other logos and things on them just because they've been previously used. A lot of times you'll have big institutions that'll do whole fleets of trucks, and then when they're done with them, they'll turn them in. They go and find these, bring them back here, go through them. That's, to me, one of the bigger parts is that the truck's been vetted. If you try to go just buy one of these maybe from an individual or something, you don't know what you're getting into unless you're going to spend the time to go through 125 different things in some random parking lot to see if that truck is ready for the road. They test all that out because their reputation at Work Trucks is riding on the fact that you're going to get a quality truck, and you do. Vans of all shapes and sizes, cargo and passenger box trucks. Those high-top Sprinter vans have sort of filled the niche that I think is taken over a little bit for the smaller box trucks. People really love the efficiency, the way those engines run, and the fuel efficiency, especially with the price being what it is right now for gas and diesel. And then, of course, all these other weird trucks, I don't even know what you call them. They got like big dualies with cranes on them and service bodies, and then the clean, straight, what I call shop truck, where you just got to do some running around. It's just single cab, bed, put your stuff in there and go. It's Work Trucks. Go see Bob and the team. If they don't have a configuration on the lot that suits you, let them track it down for you. They're good at this. To me, that's the biggest part of their service. They've done a lot of work just to get that truck down there and ready to go. All you got to do is go buy it, pick it up, and go to work. Work Trucks, put an X in there if you want to spell it online, TRUX, WorkTrucksLLC.com. Well, if y'all want to get in, we'll do some phone calls as I'll loosen up here for a few minutes. We've got, hopefully, this Artemis moonshot mission coming up, which I had been sort of seeing out of the corner of my eye with everything else we're trying to keep up with the Iranian war situation and the economic stuff. That just seemed like a feature story almost. But it really is. The more I've dug into it today and I'm watching all the preps and seeing all the danger that's involved in it, the nostalgia for me as a kid growing up during sort of that part of the space era where we were sending people to the moon. AJ, do you think there's still people out there that think we never went to the moon in the first place?
Oh, of course.
Because they'll always say, oh, why haven't we gone back?
Right. I mean, we got the technology. How come we haven't gone back into space? I mean, the moonwalk was just all in a soundstage, and this is all fake. And yeah. I mean, this is gonna be fake too, because the Earth is flat.
I think it's the Jews distracting us from whoever killed Charlie Kirk. Has nothing to do with the moon. We could make up our own conspiracy theories and people would go with it. Good Lord. We got stuff in the news today. So, yeah, Artemis, what's our countdown? I'm looking at, the CNN, the one monitor's in commercials. CNN's
1 hour, 45 minutes, and 25 seconds.
Boom. AJ's tracking it in there. So we're trying to watch it. We're trying to time the show out today so we can get to it right when it hits. Let me dig into something from yesterday. This was happening during the show, and I was over at Danny Knowles' shop doing the show yesterday, and I got a little distracted with everything going on to spend the time that I needed to in the breaks to try to understand what Trump did yesterday in that executive order over mail-in balloting. So it appears from the distance that he's just not going to trust Thune to pass the SAVE Act, and that would be a safe bet that these fools just don't mean it in the Senate. Look at them. They just took a break in the middle of a shutdown. I mean, they don't care. So Trump's trying to do things through executive order that he can't get done through Congress. And to do that, there's some things you should know about all this. It's all reversible. If the Democrats win the White House back, everything Trump's doing on ballot security and these other measures, completely overturnable. Not to mention that they'll attempt to go to court to freeze it up with some handpicked judge like they do. Even the White House ballroom, they tried to freeze that yesterday with a judge. And so they can slow him down in implementing, challenging him in the court. And then, of course, once they get any portion of Congress back, try to interdict in any of the changes he's made. The only thing that makes any of these moves by Trump permanent are for Congress to come along and put them into law, put them into our budgets, put them into regulatory structure or whatever it is he's doing, or deregulate or close out these different things. Just for example, the Department of Education. Let's talk about that for a minute. The Department of Education is pretty much gone. We just transferred over the student loan program to Treasury. They fired everybody and defunded the department. But the statute that allows for its creation, which it was really created by fiat under Jimmy Carter, but then it got some congressional authorization so it could continue to get funding. And so they created it under Carter, put it into, created a statute that allowed it to be set up. That's still there. That hasn't been rescinded. So the next Democrat president could just reorganize the Department of Education, restaff it, and start using it to ruin education in the country like it had been since the 70s. So I say all that to say, while I love the initiative that they took yesterday on the balloting, it's not permanent, and it might go into effect for this election. Let's talk. So what they did, based on my understanding, was two things, and for the life of me, I can't understand why we haven't done this before. They have to get creative to do things by executive order. It's got to be within the president's purview and the administrative branch. So they came up with a citizenship list. And you would think we'd already have that. I suppose the passport system is one thing, but you can be a citizen and not have a passport. You'd think, well, the Social Security Administration. No, the Democrats have put a bunch of illegals on our Social Security program. We got dead people on there. We got people that are 157 years old on there. That's not a good test of citizenship. That's just a government program. So I guess there is no citizen database across which you would check your voter rolls. So they're going to create a citizen database, which, by the way, I think needs to be in place if the SAVE Act were to pass. There has to be some standard if you're requiring states to validate citizenship in order to let people vote in federal elections. You need some database to cross-reference. So they're going to establish that, and again, they can do this. This is within the president's purview. And then there's the good old post office. If it's a mail-in ballot, it's got to be sent through the mail. And the concept, as I understand it, is they're going to create these unique barcodes for each ballot that is sent into a state, no matter. So if the cheaters, say in Atlanta, decided they want to send a bunch of fake ballots into the voting rolls like they did in 2020 and subsequent elections, they've got to get a certified envelope that is only gets a that unique identifying barcode if the person is a citizen. So it forces them to cross-reference the mail-in voter with the citizenship database. Brilliant. And well within the purview of the president. Not that the Democrats won't try to stop it, because they 100% are calculating fake votes and illegal aliens to keep them in office. It's their whole business model. That and tribalizing the country into ethnic tribes that war with each other so they can take advantage. This is their cynical worldview, and this is how they're trying to cling to power in a country where their views are out of phase with most mainstream Americans, period. So they do it through this fake system, and they're fighting tooth and nail to keep ICE from deporting people and to stop the SAVE Act and keep real reform measures from taking place in the states where they have the control. They control the judges, the sheriffs, the probate judges, the election, the secretaries of state, and they can just make up the rules as they want. We've seen them do it for years. But in this way, if you're going to use the federal mail system, federal government gets a say. So if it's going through the actual mail, you're going to have to apply for a barcode for it to be sent. And to get the barcode, you got to be a citizen. I don't know how in the world they're going to enforce it, but I love the concept. And now let me, again, give you the caveats. Where are the weaknesses in this? One, a judge puts it on hold. Two, you're trusting the post office. A large portion of their members are Democrats. They just are. And we got horrifying stories of them suddenly finding ballots that didn't get delivered, or delivering fake ballots in the middle of the night from other ballot harvesting places out of the state into a state. I don't know if I trust I'm not saying all of them. As I grew up, my best friend's dad was a postmaster. I get it. Great people. I got a lot of letter carriers that listen to us every day. Good for y'all. But you know what I mean. There are people that are in the administrative part of the postal system that probably won't do a good job playing ball with this stuff. And again, it's bleeding money and about to fall apart and about to go bankrupt anyway. The post office is in trouble again. So that's a weak spot in the whole idea that this would be effective. And then you're trying to get states to institute it prior to the midterms, and we're kind of already in the election year. I mean, people will be casting actual midterm votes very soon in primaries all over the country. So it probably can't get put into place for the primaries. Like in Alabama, what are we 6 weeks out or so? I'm ballparking. Before the election, you won't be able to institute that for mail-in balloting during the elections. And you've got to also hand it to the left. They're good. They're pretty creative too. This was creative on Trump's team to come out with this executive order to try to do something in the face of its weak-willed surrender monkeys in the Republican Senate. But you can't put it past the left to find a loophole in this or an end run, which they will. And then Trump's out of office, and they put another commie bedwetter, Islamo commie, in at the White House. We've already done both. Here we go. That'll all get destroyed. It's all for naught. It's temporary. Not trying to poo-poo it. I just don't want you to get artificial expectations that this has been fixed. It's an attempt to fix, and we'll have to see how it plays out. Douglas Cooling and Heating bringing you the show tonight. I was just talking about them today. I got a little project coming up where I'm going to have to add some additional air conditioner space. I was talking to my guy that's helping me with the building, and I said, without a doubt, my heating and air company is Douglas. So we talked it through. It's really adding a little bit more capacity and an additional unit to my home. And so we're going to get all of them together and have them come out and take care of that. I trust them. They're the best. They've taken care of me for 16, going on 17 years. It's hard to believe that. I'm counting my friendships and my memories in decades now. And it's that way with Douglas. They were one of the first advertisers here on the show. You can trust them too. A little nudge, if you haven't done your spring tune-up, might as well do it now. We're back in the 80s next week. I think we've had our last cool snap after this rain comes through on Sunday. So let's get that done now before the thick of summer. Do you remember how hot it gets in the Alabama, in the South, in the summer with the heat and humidity? It's Douglas Cooling and Heating. Call Douglas.com, CALL, calldouglas.com. All American Metals bringing you the show tonight, too. Here's your metal company. If you got any buildings to build this year or anytime soon, I'm telling you, I've learned my personal story about just building a pole barn. Actually, with also a lean-to that I added to it, about an 18-foot wide lean-to get some more equipment out of the rain and some of my yard tools and all that stuff. Y'all, it really is the efficiency of it, the cost factor when you compare to the square footage of the construction. I also like the speed with which it goes up. Once your site's prepped and you got your concrete down and whatever your foundation's going to be with this thing, these things come out of the ground in a hurry. And if you work with All American, you got a fully integrated company that does the design work. They can present you plans. You got to have plans sometimes to present to your regulating agencies, whether it's the county or the city for zoning and all that. Maybe even your financial institution if you're going to borrow on the project. And, of course, all that needs to be in place. But when you're ready, they're going to produce the building, all of the building, the framing, the secondary framing, all that stuff that holds it together. The sheet panels, they bend their own steel to your specs, to your pattern needs, with your colors. They get so many custom colors. Mine is a very custom color. The whole thing is super like a dark chocolatey kind of brown color, a bronzy color that matches it, sort of fits well in the woods and doesn't stand out. And I wanted it that way. I wanted it to be subtle despite the size of it. But if you want a big old classic red barn, do it. For commercial applications too, they do giant warehouses and big commercial facilities. There's no project too big for them because they got their own factories and they do their own thing. And that gives them control all the way down to the last screw, the bags and boxes of screws that put that sheet metal onto the framing. They've got it all. Insulation packages. They'll bring it on their trucks, too. They're not even trusting somebody to deliver it for them. They're going to bring it to you and make sure it's right. And you're working with good local patriots and great folks, 2 generations of a family that have been in the steel business since the 60s. Over in the Bessemer, Hueytown area, it's All American Metals. Go to their website and look at some of their projects and get inspired. It's aa-metal.com, aa-metal.com. I was just looking at the Artemis mission. I'm trying to get all fired up about it, AJ. Not try to overdo it, but I'm still fascinated. Do you think they drank Tang this morning?
I wonder what their ritual is like to make sure there is a successful. And when you go on stage and you act to say go break a leg, that's just
they have like a saying or something.
Yeah, I was wondering what do they say when they're
distracted? Don't push the red button. Don't hit the red button. Because there's like some escape button, some check down. You think they still drink? Do you remember Tang when you were a kid?
I love me some Tang.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
You go up to, you ever taken Marshall up to the Marshall Space Flight Center? Go up there and take him when he gets a little bigger, and they got astronaut ice cream. The kids love that.
Yeah. I'm be like, hey, you know what, son? This is named after you, right? You're
yeah, just tell him that. Bring him over to Uncle Leland's house. I'll show him some amps, too, that are also named after Marshall. It's a pretty cool. They got a pen. One of my favorite stories about space flight. I assume this is true. In the days of AI, maybe y'all could look it up. But they created an ink pen that would write in space. It's an anti-gravity kind of pen because I guess the standard ink pens back in those days had to be gravity-based, right? So I guess the ink would float all around, and I don't know. So they came up with they have these astronaut ink pens that you can buy that are designed like the ones. So we spent somewhere in the tune of millions of dollars at NASA in the 60s and 70s to create an ink pen that would write in space. You know what the Soviets did when they were doing their program?
Wrote it in pencil?
They used a pencil. America. Take that, Soviets. We did it because we could. We just wanted the challenge. Of course we could have used a pencil. It was more cost effective, I guess, to use a pencil.
Oh, that's old school.
Yeah. So, it'll be pretty exciting this afternoon. I hope it's a safe mission. You don't want to be negative, but I was listening to an astronaut who's been into space, low Earth orbit, not like what these guys are doing, which you presume is just way more risky. They're literally going to be the first people to go as far away from our planet as anyone ever has, or more than anyone ever has. And that
except for that movie Apollo 13, they ricocheted from the moon and.
Well, they did, but this is further out. This is going to be further away from even them, according to what I read this morning. Take that, Tom Hanks.
I just want to be in the movie somehow when they remake this into a movie. Because it's got to be dramatized. You know, I just want to be like the alien on the moon, like, hello.
Oh, you want to be like when they make a movie about Artemis?
Yeah, yeah. They go around the moon and they're like looking at the window and they just see me wave.
Oh, and there's AJ standing there, already got there ahead of him.
What took you so long?
I'm going to make a movie about the behind-the-scenes characters called Hidden Honkies.
So you mean like these guys that
Yeah,
are
you remember
checking
Hidden Figures with the black girls doing the math? That was a great movie, by the
It
way.
was.
Wasn't Octavia Spencer in that movie?
Yes, she
I
was.
love her. Great movie. If y'all looking for space movies to watch this week, this is a 10-day mission too. Hidden Honkies. Here's what it is: all the white boys that can't get to go anymore because we're in a new era. So they got to do all the behind-the-scenes calculations.
Mm.
They're like, "Hey, Gary,
Yeah.
what, Gene? Did you pass me the sun chips?"
Oh gosh.
They're back in the lab.
Can I get some of those? Let me get some of that black coffee over there too.
Oh, yeah, I've been waiting on my shot for 20 years now. Sorry, son, it's a new world. Next mission, it's transgender people. I'm kidding. Hidden Honkies. Come on, man. That's funny. Sit around listening to Leonard Skinner, watching Kid Rock videos. So that's why they got to watch it, because you put these white boys up there, and they're going to buzz Kid Rock's house and wave at him and try to get away with it. Like Trump will give us a pass. All right, top of the hour. Here we go. 4 o'clock.